Well, at last we have said goodbye to 2020, and it is now time to say goodbye to the NFL's regular season in 2020. The Saints are in Charlotte getting set to take on the Carolina Panthers for Week 17 and hopefully completing their first sweep of the NFC South. Hi, everyone. I'm Caroline Gonzalez. Welcome into Dome at Home Live, presented by FedEx. On today's show, we will have a breakdown of the game with Saints and Carolina Panthers quarterback Jake Delhomme. Throughout the entire show, we will be giving you live looks inside Bank of America Stadium for our player warm-ups presented by FedEx, so don't worry, you will not miss out on a minute of the action. But before we get into that, let's bring in John DeShazier, who is there inside the stadium for our countdown to kickoff presented by Waiter. JD, quite a few roster moves for the Saints leading up to this game. Alvin Kamara tests positive for COVID-19. That means that due to contract tracing, a few of the other running backs had to go onto the COVID-19 reserve list. What does that mean for the offense?
Well, I come in smiling about, I probably should be frowning because you lose basically your entire running back room, including fullback Michael Burton, backup running back Latavius Murray, backup running back Dwayne Washington. All of those guys out for this game. For the Saints, you move Ty Montgomery back to running back from receiver. He's been working at the receiver spot the last couple of weeks. You also bring up Tony Jones Jr., running back from the practice squad, and you hope that you can get some production out of those two guys. Now, I was talking about this. If you have to lose an entire position group, maybe running back is the one that you can overcome. You can't play an NFL game without quarterbacks. We saw that in Denver. You can't play really without receivers. We saw Cleveland struggle without their receivers. But without running backs, you might be able to piecemeal. Again, you do have Ty Montgomery. You do have Tony Jones Jr. You can run Taysom Hill out of them at the quarterback position. You can just basically do some single wing things and some RPOs with him. So you can probably compensate a little bit better without your running backs.
Well, JD, you're smiling because you're on Dome at Home Live with me. But the Saints offense wasn't only the part of the team affected. You lose Quan Alexander, your starting linebacker, in that Christmas Day game due to a ruptured Achilles. And then CJ also goes on the COVID-19 list along with safety DJ Swearinger. Marcus Williams is injured. How can the defense respond to all these injuries and COVID-19 list injuries, things like that?
Well, Alex Anzalone comes in at linebacker. He had been starting before Quan Alexander was acquired, so he just goes back into the starting lineup. In the secondary, you get P.J. Williams back, so he's going to start at safety where Marcus Williams would. Now, the dicey thing is without C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Now you have to go with Ken Crawley playing in that position because Patrick Robinson's not going to be in this game also. You lose depth if you don't have DJ Swearinger, but that's what you have JT Gray for. That's what you have Justin Hardy Sr. for. And you hope that those guys, with all the reps they've gotten in practice, will be able to fill in sufficiently in this game. It won't be a long-term solution, but you hope that for the short term, they'll be able to fill in and be effective.
Now to focus on the players who are actually going to be on the field for the Saints. What are some key objectives, things that they need to accomplish in this last regular season game to hopefully tie up the NFC South?
Well, I was going to say coming into this game, you want to run it well because Carolina doesn't stop the run very well. But now that you're limited at your running back position, it might be one of those days where Drew Brees has to put it in the air maybe 40, 45 times. Now, some of those can be short passes. Those short passes can substitute as runs. They're almost like long handoffs. And Ty Montgomery is an explosive type player. But Emmanuel Sanders at receiver and also Marquez Callaway at receiver will have to play increased roles. You've got Jared Cook at tight end. You also have Adam Troutman at tight end. Those two have proven to be effective, especially last week in the victory against Minnesota. So you're going to have to probably throw it a little bit more than the Saints were planning on throwing it coming into this game. But it is conducive to throwing the football. The weather should cooperate. Maybe high 50s, 10 to 15% chance of rain early in the day. But as the game progresses, that percentage lowers. The sun will probably come out during this game. So it should be conducive to the Saints throwing the football. And they might have to win this game.
Well, reminder that fans can watch that game at 3:25 p.m. coming up on Fox. Thanks so much, JD. We'll check back with you in just a bit. For now, let's check in with some Saints fans who checked in our black and gold roll call presented by Zatarain.
I'm Beth, and I'm cheering on the Saints from Wales, which is in the UK. I love this team. Let's get this win.
I'm Jen.
I'm Elijah from Brooklyn, New York, and we want to say, Go Saints!
I'm Jason.
I'm Tyson.
From Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Yep.
And who are we rooting for?
Saints.
New Orleans transplant Colleen Garland, coming to you from Columbus, Ohio. Go Saints!
This is Freddie Young from Tucson, Arizona.
I'm Krista Mitchell from Denham Springs, Louisiana. Want to say Go Saints.
My name is Camilla Willery, and I'm from The Boot, which is known for Louisiana. And I'm a Saints fan. I'm a diehard Saints fan. Everything is about my Saints. New Orleans, baby.
The Saints clinched their fourth straight, count them, fourth straight NFC South title with their win on Christmas Day over the Minnesota Vikings. Let's take a look back at that in our WWL Black and Gold recap. Well, no Cole, but a lot of touchdowns were given in the Saints stockings on Christmas Day. And it was Alvin Kamara playing the role of Kris Kringle. Kamara tied a record, scoring 6 of the Saints' 7 touchdowns against the Vikings. It was a much-needed win against a team that has crushed the Saints' Super Bowl dreams 2 of the past 3 seasons. And with the victory came an NFC South title. Final score of Vikings-Saints matchup, 52-33. Regular season wraps up against the division rival Carolina Panthers. With the top seed in the NFC still technically up for grabs, the Saints have plenty of motivation to complete their NFC South sweep. The Panthers are out of the playoff hunt, but these teams know each other well and play each other hard. Quarterback Teddy Bridgewater is out to prove he's the Panthers franchise quarterback of the future. He's 0-8 on potential game-winning or tying drives, but he's also played 13 games without his top weapon, running back Christian McCaffrey. Here's what our guys are saying about the matchup in the Bo's Sound Bites of the Week.
I definitely feel like the Vikings team was better. You know, really. Listen, all in all, I felt like we moved the ball extremely well, both on the ground and through the air. Listen, we didn't punt the whole game. You know, had 580 yards or something total offense. So we were moving the ball, we were rolling, we were doing, what we wanted to do. There was, I think there's definitely more to be desired. I mean, there's definitely room for improvement, especially as we kind of get to this last game and on our way into the playoffs. But I think I'm pleased with the progress.
For me, I put a lot of emphasis on my preparation and just visualizing, the game and getting a feel for, what blocks look like, what do people's demeanor look like when they're, getting ready to pass or run, and just those small details that allow me to play fast and trust what I see. I think really that's the biggest thing, is preparing enough that when I get out there, things are moving fast. As a smaller guy who's in the box, I don't have time to waste or steps away. So a lot of preparation goes into being able to play fast and make plays. And, for me, I got to continue to do that to help our defense.
Listen, we talk about a coach who was doing the gritty with Jordan 11s on, right? One thing about Sean Payton is, from a confidence standpoint, he's probably the most confident coach I've been a part of, and as he should, because he pretty much, he's been doing it a long time. He's a great coach, and and like I said, in my opinion, Sean Payton is a Hall of Fame coach. At some point he should be off in there, and I've been enjoying my time with him, and it's just not even on the football field, even off the football field, and just talking with him and cracking jokes with him. I've enjoyed my time with him, and he's a legend in my eyes.
Well, who better to talk about this matchup than someone who knows both of these teams so well? He played for the Saints. He's in the Carolina Panthers Hall of Fame. It's Jake Delhomme for our breakdown presented by NOLA Lending.
Well, Jake, got to ask you about our guy, Teddy Bridgewater. Of course, he's always going to have a soft spot in our hearts here with New Orleans Saints fans. How has he done this year in Charlotte?
Listen, he's really done a great job, and the team has embraced him. He's a captain. They look to him as a leader, and I don't think there's anything greater in, I know, Teddy's mind and also the Panthers' mind, is to get another December, well, this will be January, win at home against a team that's going to make a deep run into the playoffs. And that's Matt Rule's mindset.
In the Superdome in October, the Saints really didn't do a whole lot offensively in that second half. You go to the Green Bay game with Carolina after, Aaron Rodgers had his way against the Panthers in the first half. They really didn't do anything in the second half as well. And then, of course, the Washington game from a week ago. What is it about the defense that has gotten them in these stretches where just nothing happens offensively for the other team?
At one point in the Green Bay game, you mentioned 2 weeks ago, Green Bay jumps up 21-0. And then Carolina has a chance on the last drive of the game to go down and tie the game. And Aaron Rodgers, in his interview after the game, he basically said, this kind of feels like a loss. They were very disappointed in how they played offensively. And that's credit to Coach Snow and Coach Rule and that defense, because in that Green Bay game, I want to say they had all 7 draft picks playing at one point because they went all defense in the draft. A ton of youth. So these guys are they're starting to grow up a little bit.
Give Saints fans, it could be offense, defense, special teams, someone that's maybe under the radar for the Panthers who the Saints fans have to keep a mind out for on Sunday.
I would kind of start with offensively, DJ Moore, who's had some success against the Saints, but Curtis Samuel really and truly has kind of priced himself out of in my opinion, maybe the Carolina market. He's going to have major suitors this offseason. We're using him, obviously a receiver, but as a running back. Mike Davis, another running back who, with Christian McCaffrey being hurt the majority of the season, Mike Davis has rushed for 1,000 yards. On the defensive side of the ball, Jeremy Chin, second-round pick, will be in the. We'll have votes for Rookie of the Year. Has done a marvelous job this year for Carolina. He's a player that we're excited to have him for years to come.
The Saints will have to soldier on this week without Alvin Kamara as he has entered the COVID protocol. But before that change was made, AK got an opportunity to meet with someone who he has a special connection. The 96-year-old former NFL player with whom he now shares a record for the most touchdowns in a game.
Good. Hey, Alvin. How you doing? It's really a pleasure for me to be here and meet you. And I want to tell you what a great job you're doing for the Saints. And I played ball many years ago, 70 years ago. 1951 is when I scored the 6 touchdowns. And I'm so happy that person of your character and ability is tied my record. I'm taking it out to have you on board.
Yeah, man, thank you. I'm definitely blessed to be in such great company. You know, when after the game, once I knew I broke the record and I knew once I knew I tied the record and I knew it was your record, you know, I was definitely excited. And, you know, they kind of gave me history and background on you as a player and, you know, just the accomplishments you were able to reach. And, you know, I think I'm in good company. And I didn't know what the record was. After I got 2, I was on the sideline and I asked Coach Thomas, I'm like, hey, what's the record?
And neither did I.
And he let me know. I'm like, oh, well, all right, let's see. I might be able to get it. And you know, I was able to do that.
After I'd scored 5 touchdowns, they did telephone down from the press box that I had scored 5 and one more would tie the record. And so I went back in the game and it happened.
Oh, so you got the ball? That's the ball?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely get my signature on that.
I mean, I was played with the Browns, you know, and we had a quarterback, Otto Graham, that I played with 10 years. And believe me, you and Drew Brees reminds me of my experiences. It's nothing like having a quarterback.
Yeah.
And Drew Brees and my quarterback, Otto Graham. They're terrific.
Yeah, man. Drew pretty good. So I'm definitely lucky to be able to have him. You know, if there's anything like your connection with your quarterback, then I can only imagine the success you guys had.
Well, you keep going and keep playing. Keep your head up, your eyes open. You got it.
Will do. Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right.
Happy birthday too.
Okay. Oh yeah, I tried a birthday.
Yeah.
Oh.
God.
What a special conversation. JD, you were on that call with the two of them. How unique was it to witness kind of history like that?
Well, consider it. There are 2 guys alive who scored 6 touchdowns in an NFL game, Dub Jones and Alvin Kamara. So to be involved in that conversation, obviously it's a history-making conversation, but when you put it in perspective and you think about the magnitude of it, pretty significant.
Significant indeed. Let's take a look at some more history when we get into these tweets in our Look Who's Tweeting presented by Cox. This first one from Amy Just. The Saints have worn their gold pants 7 times in the past 3 seasons, going 3-3 in them.
I'll tell you what, I'm not Mr. Blackwell. I'd never really pay attention to what they're wearing unless it's all whites. So I wouldn't have known what their record was in it. But let's say it's going to go to 4-3 after this day.
I like the way you think, JD. All right, this next one comes from Jeff Duncan. Sheldon Rankins played running back in junior high school. Maybe he can lobby Sean Payton for snaps in the Saints jumbo package with a little shimmy at the end there, JD.
You know, that's just Dunk kissing up because Dunk went to the University of Louisville, as did Sheldon Rankins. So he's always looking for ways to give Sheldon a little bit of shine. Sheldon will not be lining up at fullback in this game. I can promise. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say I can promise you because I really don't know. But I think he could if he wanted to.
Anything is possible, JD. Okay, let's go ahead and get into our inactives list, hot off the presses by Acadian Ambulance. JD, a lot of names obviously on the COVID-19 and reserve list with that positive test coming out of earlier this week. But the names on that list, not on the COVID-19 list, is tight end Josh Hill and then Marcus Williams.
The big name there, probably people won't think is Josh Hill, and here's why. His versatility. Without Michael Burton in this game at fullback, Josh Hill is a guy who can play a lot of fullback. He can do a lot of those things that you need out of the backfield from a fullback. Without him, might be Garrett Griffin, who might be playing some fullback for the Saints in this game. Some fullback, H-back, that kind of thing, because you're going to need a lead blocker from time to time. That's just the way the NFL is, and there's a reason Sean Payton keeps a fullback on the roster. He has one every year. This year it's Michael Burton. Unfortunately, Burton's out of this game, and if you don't have Josh Hill who can fill in a lot of those capacities, then it probably will be Garrett Griffin, who also was called up off the practice squad.
Well, before we let you go, JD, we're not going to let you get off that easily. Let's hear your score prediction fueled by Chevron. I will go first. I'm going to say 28-7 with a Saints win. What do you got?
31-23, point blank, period. Take that to the bank, or take that to the Bank of America if you want to. I don't care. Saints win.
Thanks so much, JD. Be sure to stay warm. Okay, now for my favorite part of the show, let's check in with some Saints fans who are gearing up for game day with the hashtag Saints Game Day, presented by Coke. We are so close to kickoff, Saints fans. It is almost time. You can catch the game at 3:25 p.m. Central on Fox. Reminder to tune in to our post-game show presented by Mercedes-Benz immediately following the game. We will have the live press conferences of Sean Payton, Drew Brees, and whoever else wants to come to the podium. All right, Saints fans, it is almost time. Let's get you hyped.
Saints go get 'em.